Hey guys, it's Chala from Crafting Through the Chaos of Life. Thanks so much for joining me for another video. Well, I am off on another tangent. An idea came to me a couple days ago about doing buttons. Oh, don't need to see that. Doing buttons and button cards. And so I wanted to come up with a digital for like a vintage button card. And I also want to create it into like some pages. So that is what I'm working on. I am working on several digitals, you guys. I'm very excited about this. So this is my Birdie's buttons that I created, this digital that I created, and it's going to be available once I finish getting the layout all done and said over on my Ko-fi site, or Ko-fi coffee site, however you say it. So yeah, head over there and you can get it for free for the first couple of weeks once it's released. And from there, what I usually do is just bump it up to $1 after that. So I don't have a Patreon or anything like that. It's just if you watch my videos, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, you'll find out when my digitals are being released over on my coffee site. So anyways, with that all being said, I wanted to make buttons. So I'm working on this. This will come out. I'm not going to post the video until the digital has come out. So there's that. But yeah, let's go ahead and play with making some buttons. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to do is I have a poop ton of scraps. And there are a poop ton of beautiful scraps, like in particular this one. Gorgeous. So I want to take this and I want to create some buttons out of this one. Now we can collage. If that's absolutely, you could do a big, huge collage page on here, and I might do that later. But for the most part, I'm just going to try to use up the larger scraps and see how many buttons I can create. But feel free if you want to do that with some master boards that you've created or other collage pages, you can use those as well. So since this is a nice big piece, I've got this piece of paper here. I'm going to start by just gluing this down, and nothing spectacular at this point, just using my Oohoo glue to get the page glued down. And I kind of want to make sure it's going to be stuck all over the place. I'm gluing this onto 110-pound cardstock, so it's a thicker weight because I want these buttons to be able to stand up. I want you to be able to use them. Now you can do your buttons just on regular copy paper or like a lighter cardstock, whatever thickness you want. And then you can always add thickness to them as you need them, I guess. You could add little, because we're going to be using a one hole. Yeah, a one hole. Wow, Chala, words are not your strong suit today. So we're going to be using a 6-inch. 6 inch? No, not 6 inches. Oh my gosh, you guys. My brain is fried. Let's try speaking English. Okay, we are going to be using a 1-inch hole punch, circle hole punch, to create our buttons. There. The words are working, and now this digital is working to be glued down. It was like my mouth and my brain and hands were slightly checked out there for a minute. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, we're going to use our 1-inch hole punch. See, that was a lot easier to say. You can definitely use smaller or whatever size you want. I just like the size of this for the buttons because obviously they're more decorative than functional, but you can also pre-cut these out and use them as folio closures as well. So yeah, there's that. So let's go ahead and just start. Oh, these are going to be gorgeous. Oh, hole punching these out. That was loud. And it shot all the way across my floor. Look at that. Okay, these are going to be gorgeous. So I'm just going to punch them out. Now, what I probably should have done, or could have done, is Mod Podged over top of this first before cutting it out. But it's already really hard to punch through as it is with this 110-pound cardstock. So I think I might hit them with Mod Podge after I put the holes in them. And yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll wait till then. Might be just a little bit easier. But yeah, if you think your, oh my goodness, hole punch will go through with a layer of Mod Podge over top, you know, definitely do that before. But as you can see, mine is on the struggle bus. It's not, ooh, that is some thick, where did that one go? Oh, there it is. Oh, I thought I lost it. Ooh, that's a gorgeous one. Isn't that pretty? So I'll just cut the rest of this row out, and then I'll show you what I want to do with them. Ugh. Sorry guys, I'm getting a workout here, and that's a really loud snap probably. Oh, get a workout. Oh my word. Let's do this last one. Ooh, that's going to be a pretty one too. Oh, heavens to Betsy. There we go. Okay. Let's just throw that in there for now, and we'll finish those ones later. Okay, so now that I have my 1-inch circles cut out, just going to bring in, well, used book page here. Okay, so let's go ahead and ink these up if that's what you like to do. I do understand that inking is a personal preference, so if you like it, go ahead and ink them up. If not, then hold tight. We're going to get to the next step here shortly. Okay. Oh, I need to cut out one extra, just plain circle as our template. Actually, I'm going to do 2. I lied. And I'll show you why in a minute. Okay. I'm just going to write T on the back of these, or on one side here, so I know that they're my template. Okay, put those to the side. That way I won't ink them up in my mass frenzy here. Okay, so we've backed some digital paper onto some thicker cardstock. You can use cereal boxes, any lighter cardboard. Like I said, I'm using 110-pound cardstock because that's what I have available. You can also use, like I have these leftover file folder bits. We could have used that as well, but again, I had a big sheet available, and it was a big piece I was working with, so do what works for you. Again, you can use a digital, you can collage with your scraps. Just use book page. There's no rules on what you're going to use here. I'm just showing you how to do it. Okay. And again, if you don't have like the thicker cardstock or cardboard, glue several, that was hard for me to say, several book pages together, or several layers together to get a thicker button. Okay, so we have those all nice and inked up, and the next thing I want to do is Mod Podge over them. Oh, and I'm going to have to pause you for just a second because I left my brush and pot upstairs. Hold tight 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I am back. So I grabbed my little pot, cleaning pot here, and my brush. And don't tell me now I don't have a rag. Good Lord. Get it together. All right, I've got one here in my little bucket. Oh my goodness, I was just so excited. I didn't have everything ready that I needed. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some Mod Podge on these little buttons. Get rid of that glue gooby first. Okay, I use this little container of Mod Podge. I got it from the dollar store, but I love the size of it, and I'm just using my kind of homemade Mod Podge. So I put this Elmer's glue all in it and some water. Don't ask me the ratio. I just kind of pour and get the consistency I like. So that's what's in here. And we'll just squirt some on our little buttons. And give it a layer of that just to kind of seal it and give it some shine. Again, you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. If you rather have matte looking buttons, like non-shiny buttons, that works too. Do whatever floats your boat. Okay. I think that's pretty good. I just like how it sometimes intensifies the colors of the digital when you put a coat of Mod Podge on top. Okay, now I'm going to pause you and quickly hit this with my heat gun, and then we'll come back and we'll get our holes made. Okay, so I have gone ahead and dried those. I will have to peel them off this page though. Just quickly do that. So that one is done with our homemade Mod Podge covering it. And so as you can see, let's peel this off, sorry. As you can see, they have a bit of a shine to them. You see that? There you go. So yeah, these ones have a bit of a shine to them. It's kind of flat in nature, and then all we have to do is put our holes in. While I was off camera, I did cut out several more and ink them up. And what I want to do with these is I want to use Nuvo crystal drops on one set and glossy accents on the other. And then I'll just come back kind of once they're dried. It's probably going to be the next day for me, but I'll go ahead and do that, and we'll kind of see which works better for punching holes in. I'm just interested really to see if either of these are going to crack when we put the holes for the buttons in. So we'll figure it out. We'll try it out. So these ones are good to go for punching holes, and then these ones we're just going to cover them. So we'll do glossy accents on the right. This stuff is pretty, there we go, pretty old, so it also has some goobies in it from a pin that is not rust proof. But you know what, that's okay. That's fine. It's going to give it texture and vintage interest and all of that good stuff. It's a little bit of rust. A little bit of rust never hurt anybody. Never hurt a project. Right? A little bit of rust never hurt a junk journal project. So let's just go ahead and cover this button. And then this gorgeous flower one. So really, when you put this on, you're going to put however thick of a layer you want. Just remember, the thicker the layer you're going to put on there, the longer it's going to take to cure. So, and the harder it could possibly be to get your holes poked through without cracking. So keep that in mind as well. Again, if you don't like the rust bits, then use a stainless steel needle in your glossy accents. So what I want to do really is just, when I'm looking at these, I know it's probably hard, you might be able to see them, but there's a few little air bubbles. I want to make sure that I pop those. I don't necessarily want air bubbles in my buttons. But if it doesn't bother you, then no big deal. Carry on. Now I've got that song in my head, Carry On My Wayward Son. I have like a soundtrack going on in my head at all times. Okay, so there is those ones. So I've done them, you know, they're fairly thick. They're going to have, you know, kind of a little dome to them. And we'll stick this disgusting pin back in. Pretend like we never saw it. And then the next ones I want to do with Nuvo Crystal Glaze. So this is nice because you don't have to stick a pin in there to keep your hole clear. And it's a finer tip than what I cut on my glossy accents. So it's a little bit easier, I'll say, to control on this one. I really don't think there's much of a difference, to tell you the truth, between the Nouveau Crystal Glaze and the Glossy Accents. I think they solidify pretty much the same. Maybe they're a little different in opacity. I really couldn't tell you which one was better. I mean, I think they're both just fine for what you want to do. I would go with whatever's cheaper, personally, because I think you're going to get the same result either out of either one of them. I just happen to have two because I got suckered into the, oh, you need this, you need this. Because I saw somebody using Glossy Accents and I saw somebody using Nouveau Drops, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to have both. And I've come to the conclusion I don't need both. So now they just kind of sit there on my shelf until I remember how to use them. Okay. After that honesty moment, thank you for letting me open up to you. Let's set these ones aside. So we've got, let me write this down. We've got Glossy on this side, and we've got Nouveau on this side. Okay, and then we'll see which ones turn out better. But as you can see right now, they're both looking pretty similar in shininess, right? So yeah, okay, so there's our little experiment. The next thing we want to do is grab our little templates and work out where we want our holes. So I want a 4-button one and I want a 2-button one. So I'm kind of, there's this little box grid kind of going on, this 1-inch square on my glass mat that I'm kind of putting this into. I don't know if it's straight for you guys, but it's fairly straight in there for me. And then what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put where my holes are going to be. And I am not necessarily using the lines on the grid from here on out. I'm just trying to make sure that it stays within that square so I can kind of find center. And I'm just eyeballing where I think those 2 holes should go. Okay, there's that one. Now the one that's a 4-hole is going to be a little bit trickier. I'm sure there's like a technical way to do this instead of just eyeballing it. So if you know what that is, for those who really need to have it exact and dead on, please share. Otherwise, if you're into the perfectly imperfect like me, let's just keep doing what we're doing. So that looks about good for me. Now, I'm wondering if my crocodile here, if the smallest hole is still too big. I could always cut another one. So let's try, so this is a 1/8 of an inch hole that's in here. Oops, let's put it to the right thing. And we'll try using this. Otherwise, my next go-to is going to be using my pokey tool. But I think I'm liking this. Hey, that's not too shabby. It's nice and big. I kind of like that. Let's see what we get. Again, I don't know if that's really centered, but it's our button template. It's perfectly imperfect, and we're going with it. Okay, so maybe I'll do this one about here. This one about here. Trying to go with where those holes are and just kind of tweaking it from there. There. And I think that one needs to be over a bit, so we'll go here. Oh, I like that. Okay, so here is our 4-button template. Sweet. So now that we have those done, then what I would do is I would just line them up on here. And again, so if you don't have the 1/8 inch punch, again, you could just use your pokey tool on the template and just make the holes from there. And then all you're going to do is you line them up from there, stick them in the hole, and then just kind of carry on, and that's how you make your little holes. I would just push this straight through. So let's see if I can do it. I have taken out my little cushy mat. So then I would use my pokey tool and poke here, poke here, that one, and that one. And then I would just from there use, see how that poked through that hole? That's actually a good size too. So I'm just pushing in my pokey tool. This is a Tim Holtz pokey tool, pushing it all the way through, and that is giving me some lovely holes to work with here. These are really off, but that's kind of cool. On the same token, it's like a wonky button, right? I really like that. So now we can stitch through these if we want, or we can just simply glue them on. Yeah, putting some stitching through them might look nice, and then kind of gluing it on the back, so you can use thread or embroidery floss or twine or whatever you like. That's kind of cool. I like that. Let's try my 2-hole one here. Let's see how that works out. Just kind of have to move it in the light to see where I poked the holes. I guess I could use it on this side too. Let's see. There we go. So there's our 2 buttons that we have so far. Now again, using our template, and you can put more layers on here if you want. We just went with the 1 layer just because that was simple. And then if you get, when you peel it off your paper, if you use like a craft mat or something, you might get these little kind of, can you see that? That little glue overhang right here. So yeah, I'm gonna just take a nail file. Sorry if that is irritating to anybody's ears. Can't be worse than my voice, so there's that. Yeah, so we'll just file off those glue kind of goobies or overhangs or whatever you want to call them, and it's good to go. Okay, so I kind of like the big holes. Let's see how the big holes look. So again, I'm just kind of stacking them one on top of the other, and I can slide this in and use it as my template for my hole. There's 1 and 2. Let's see how this bigger hole one looks. Yeah, I like that. Yay! Okay. And let's do, don't want to punch, this is so pretty, don't want to punch all these holes through it, but okay, let's try this 4-hole button. Again, if you're using button cards in your project or whatever, you can absolutely use real buttons. Nothing's stopping you from that. It's just sometimes nice to make your own buttons, especially for them to kind of coordinate with your project, and they sometimes have a lower profile than a real button, so it doesn't bulk your journal up as much. Isn't that cute? Oh, I love that, you guys. Okay, this one, I don't really want to ruin it, but it's not ruining it. It's going to be a beautiful button either way. So there's that one. There. There. And there. And as you can see, I've kind of off punched. Oh no, you can't see. Would you like to see? You can see I've kind of over punched on my template, but it's still going to give me round holes on my project. The holes on the button itself isn't going to look wonky like my template after that much punching. It's just, I've, you know, inadvertently made the hole bigger on my template. Not a big deal. Not the end of the world. Angels aren't going to cry or anything like that. So, okay, so I've got some leftover paper and glue goop here. So I'm just going to use my nail file. Kind of clean up that edge. And then, there we go. That's looking a bit cleaner. And then these. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to let those other buttons dry that we did with the glossy accents and Crystal Nouveau drops. And I am going to come back tomorrow to finish this video, and we'll see how that turned out, and we'll try punching the holes. We'll see if it works with a crocodile or if we need to go with the pokey tool instead. So we'll figure that out tomorrow. And then hopefully, I'm actually going to go work on those digitals right now to see if I can get those done so that they're ready to get posted with the video, and so that you guys have some stuff to play with, some digitals to play with. Yeah, so make sure you head over to my coffee site. I think you can follow or whatever, follow me, I think it is. So go ahead and do that so that you get notifications when I post freebies, because I think what I'm going to do, because I don't have a Patreon or anything like that, they'll be free for the first couple of weeks, and then from there I might like tack on $1 or whatever to them. I just, and honestly, I'm trying to save a little bit of money to be able to buy a new computer. My computer is slowly dying, so that is what I'm going to be using that coffee money for, is to go towards that, because those things are expensive when you're not really planning on buying a new one, aren't they? And just, you know, having to spend money on computers for my kids for back to school, because now they all require computers. Yeah, it's a lot, right? So being a parent's so hard. Why didn't someone warn me? Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to pause for now. I'll go work on my digital, and when we come back, yeah, we'll see how the glossy accents versus Nouveau drops went. Okay, catch you guys in a bit. Okay guys, I am back, and admittedly it is not the next day. It is actually like 2 days later, because I had such a hellish day at work yesterday. I had so many tech problems and everything kind of go wrong that at the end of the day I had no energy left to come down to my craft room and craft. I just curled up in the fetal position and went to sleep, and actually didn't go to sleep. I actually caught up on some videos of some YouTubers that I like to watch. So nonetheless, I am back today, which is really, I mean, you don't care. You just care that I'm back, I guess. And so the buttons have gone ahead and dried, and I love these buttons. I actually, the ones that I poked the holes in with using just my little pokey tool, I didn't like them as much. I didn't like that the holes didn't stand out as much. So I've gone ahead and punched them with that 1/8 inch hole punch that I have with my crocodile. And this one, you can see I didn't even line the holes up properly, but that's okay. I totally don't care. I love it just the way it is. It's perfectly imperfect, so we're gonna go with that. And then here are the buttons that I made. Again, these ones here are the glossy accent ones, and these ones here are the Nouveau crystal drops. So let's take a look. What do we have? They both, why am I glitching? Sorry, I don't know why it does that. I think I need a new computer really badly. I know I need a new computer, but it's glitching and making the video go slow. Sorry, I don't know why. But yeah, no, they both did the same thing that I wanted. They made the buttons glossy. And I don't really notice too big of a difference in them at all. So let's see if it works. Pardon me, now I got a frog in my throat. Let's go ahead and poke some holes through them. I'm going to use my crocodile here again. That's the 1/8 hole. And I'm going to do 2 holes in this one. And we'll see if it happens to crack or anything when I punch through. I'm not sure, it might. Depends on how thick that was on there. Okay, let's see if you guys can see that. It did not crack, which I'm really happy with. I'm really surprised. I thought with the pressure that it might crack the gloss or the sealant on there, but it seems to have worked fairly well. So let's go ahead and continue and put some holes in these buttons. And then from there we can just, I think I'm just going to put lace some string through them, or some, I am going to use some embroidery floss. That one seemed to go through a little harder, but still didn't crack. I'd have to clean up the back a little bit, but that's okay. I am liking these a lot. And this one, let's do the 4, little fleur-de-lis here. And then, so the other good thing with me not coming back right away like yesterday when I was supposed to, is I kind of got my brain cleared up, and I know some, look at that, isn't that cute? Some more elements that I want to add to the digital kit, my very first digital kit, and that's coming along nicely. So I'll show you guys where that is at. I'm actually waiting for one page to print out to see what it's like, because I haven't, I've just designed them. I haven't printed them out yet. So we'll have to see how that works. Oh, I like that button. And then we've got 2 more. And now we've mixed them up. We don't know which is which, so it obviously doesn't matter. They both achieved the same results, so use whatever you have. If you have glossy accents, go with that. If you have Nouveau crystal drops, do your thing with that. Okay, this one I feel needs to be a 2-hole punch. I don't even know if I really need this template, to tell you the truth. I'll probably just eyeball it and do just as well, but that's that. Okay, last one. There. Alrighty then. Put that back. Actually, let's put it back where it's supposed to go. Then I know where it is. Isn't that amazing when you do that? When you put things back where they belong, then you know where they are. It's a novel concept that my kids have not yet figured out. And quite honestly, neither really have I some days. Okay. So now I have this container of thread that is my mom's. Thanks, Mom. Oh, we could do some shiny stuff. Let's just go with, I think this one. I think this one would go with all of them quite well. And then we've got some needles in here. Ooh, we've got some nice big ones. Let's just pull one of these out. Oh, Diggy Dog's barking for some reason. My eldest son had a sleepover. So I've got all these boys downstairs. I don't know, they probably think I'm crazy because I'm talking to myself right now. Okay, that is too big, that is too big. That is just right, Goldilocks. We found the right one. Okay. Ta-da. Ta-freaking-da. We've got it now. Okay. Now let's find the end. We must find the end to begin, which seems very odd. Okay. So let's just cut a length of this stuff off. And I mean, you could sew this directly to something. That would work as well. You can split up the threads if you don't want to use, because there's like, obviously you get, I think, what, four separate threads that are kind of woven together. But I'm just going to use all of them because I want it thick. And let's just go ahead and cross over with this thread back and forth. Do that a couple times just to make it a little more visible. thicken up the thread a little bit. Ooh, I like that. I like it a lot. We'll go one more time maybe. And it'll really, the thread will really stand out in that button. We'll really be able to see it. I think that's good. Turn it over. And let's tie a knot. And then I'm just going to glue this down on something. Like I said, you can totally sew it if you want, but not necessary to sew it actually on something. Oh, did I lose my thread? I did. Bugger. Hate it when that happens. Get back in the hole. Of course, it's always when you're trying to like finish it off, tie it off, that it has to come out. No, I don't want you to split like that. Let's try again. I really want to avoid having to stick it in my mouth and wet it. Don't really like doing that. Kind of grosses me out, to tell you the truth. Okay, what are we caught on? What in God's name is going on? There we go. Okay. Ta-da. We will knot this a couple more times. Probably going overboard with the knotting, but at least I know it's going to stay. It's not going to go anywhere. One more for good measure. There we go. Look at that. It's our cute little sewing button. Oh, and I'm glitching again. God, I don't know why. Okay, so there's that. So those are our buttons, guys. We can go ahead and just create a load of those and have them ready to go. And I think what I am going to do is, in my drawer here, I should have some extra little containers, do I? Does this pull out any farther? No. Okay. I have these little plastic containers that I've had for a while, and I used to have some smaller ones like this, but I don't know where they are right now, so we'll just use one of these. We'll go with what we have, and then if I happen to find a smaller one, I can always transfer them later. Okay, so we'll just throw those in there, and those will be ready. And I was kind of hoping that my printer would have printed that out already, but it hasn't, so I don't know. Again, we switched internet providers. I don't think I'm hooked up on the right things. And that's really, like, probably why my streaming is so bad. Let's see if I can do a switch here, if that makes a difference. I don't know. I'm not that technically competent, but okay. So then we have all these awesome buttons that are ready to go on our projects. And again, you can put thread in them if you want, or glue them down as is, but aren't those great? And so I don't have, because my printer isn't playing nice, and it should be hardwired plugged in, no paper. Oh, well, that could definitely be a problem on why it's not printing, right? So let's throw some paper in here so that we can see how my digital turned out. I am blaming the internet and its user error of not having paper in the tray. Okay. So let's take a look in the interim. Oh, it's printed out. It's gonna print out. We've got it. Let's see how it looks, guys. This is just one of my pages. Are you ready? I'm so excited to share this with you. Ta-da! Okay, so I might have to do some fine tuning. But, so we've got, this is a little button card. We've got a fun little number cut out. We've got a little medallion. We've got this little 10-cent thing. We've got some pockets. And then this could be like a little journaling card. Oh, let's just play with this. Let's go ahead and cut it up and play with it. I want to go as straight as possible for this little button thingamajigger. So let's see. Now I didn't put it on cardstock, which I probably should have, but that's also okay. So go down to about here. And then we will cut it this way. Lining it up straight. Put down here. Out there. There we go. Okay, well, I'm going to have to clean that up a bit. But I mean, for a first go at it, it's not too shabby. And I'm going to also, let's back it. Oh, I'm sorry about the glitchiness. I can see it and it's bugging me. Okay, let's actually go like this way. And we'll cut it down right about here. Isn't that cute? Birdie's buttons. It's a little button card. And let's back it onto some of this. What is this? This is just tab paper, right? Divider paper, whatever you want to call it. And so I'm just going to glue it down to give it some more stability. And then from there, if you want, you can totally sew around it. That might look cute with matching thread. Just sew around. Okay. Oopsies. Let's try that. Okay. And I mean, I could make these bigger too. I guess it all depends on the size of your buttons. I suppose you guys could also resize them for what you need. Because I do have full pages of everything that I created. I'll show you that in a minute here on the program I'm using. Procreate is so awesome. It's so much fun to play with. And I haven't even like skimmed the surface of all the things that it can do. And I've had it for years. It's just a matter of getting time to sit down and play with it. And doing digital art is so different than actual like pen to paper art, if you know what I mean. You can get very similar and cool results, but it's just, again, it's just a little bit different. Okay, I want it to round these corners. There we go, because I don't like the sharp edges. There we go. And we need to ink up the edges. Look at this. It is my first digital ephemera piece. And then I do want to create some buttons. So we could either use the ones that we have created here, or I want another glossy one like that. Or I could create a few digital buttons as well, which I might do. I just have to figure out how to do that. So there we go. I know the lighting's kind of a little bit off. I don't know how to fix that. It looks awfully bright. Let's try and bring this up. Will that fix it? Why is it so bright? Why is it so white? I don't know. But there you go, and so now I'm just going to sew those on. I'm going to mark where I want to sew them in though. Like that, so that'll give me an idea that they're spaced well enough apart. This gives me an idea where to put the holes to sew it in. Okay, let's sew this one on. Scissors right in front of my nose. Use our pin here. And let's see. Okay, little button. I'll just poke a hole right there. Actually, poke the hole. Where is this? Let's use this. Oh, I just poked my finger. That was silly. That kind of hurt. Hopefully I'm not bleeding. Oh, a little drop of blood. I think I'll be fine now. I will survive. Okay, so we have this little kind of, I don't know if you can see it, how it's kind of, the paper's kind of lifted up. Right there. And it's kind of causing some issues for me. And I'm going to grab my little nail file and just file that excess off just a little bit around that hole. Yep, that's better. Okay, pick up the needle. Let's go through the back. Like this. Like this. There we go. And I'm just going to go through once. I think that'll be fine. It's like a little button sample card. Isn't that so cute? And we'll knot this one. And so you could either secure the ends of these threads with some washi tape. You could leave them as is. You could even use a little dollop of art glitter glue on the knot, just so it doesn't come undone. I think this is fine just the way it is, personally. And I'm going to ink up the edges on the back as well, so that you can still write on the back. That is what I'm going to do. See there, you still have place to write. Okay, let's bring out, where did my little pokey pad go? Did I put it away? Did I tuck it back under? Oh, that's the big one. What did I do with my little pokey pad? Okay, well, let's try not to poke it through our fingers this time, maybe. There's 1 and 2. We're going to have enough thread? Yes. Oops, going the wrong way. Got to start from the back so that we end in the back. Like so. And then we just tie it off. Ta-da! I love it, I love it, I love it so much. I do, I do, I do. Okay, there we go. We have a little button card. Isn't that super cute? And I don't know why my lights are all so... What if I turn this one off? Does that make a difference? No, not really. I like a lot of light when I'm working. I like to see what I'm doing, but then it kind of throws things off with the camera. But isn't that adorable? So we have a little button card that we made out of this ephemera pack that I created. I'm so excited. So let's take a quick look. So we know how to do fun buttons. We can do them just with Mod Podge. We can do them with Nouveau Crystal Drops. We can do them with glossy accents. Again, using just collage papers or leftover scrap pages. We just simply created the buttons with a 1-hole punch. Again, you can just use a pokey tool, or in my instance, I have that 1/8 hole punch on my crocodile that I use to cut the holes with, and I just think it's stinking adorable. And then, so yeah, we've got a little piece of ephemera here, got a little medallion that you can use. This you can cut out and stick to something. And then these are, my idea here was the pockets, and I like that it's actually sketched. I think that's kind of fun because you don't have to have like a perfect, let's cut one out. You don't have to have like a perfect thumb notch hole. I mean, obviously you can if you want. But this is very loosely, like there's no hard and fast lines. You can cut right on the line that I drew. You can go off of it a little bit. I just like the whimsical drawing of it, right? And then, so I mean, you totally could make this work. The 1 inch is a little bit big for what I drew, so let's just go ahead and fussy cut it out, right? It doesn't have to be perfectly circular. I'm just going to cut this down a little bit more. Then we'll go in and see if I can match that up. Kind of holding my breath when I'm cutting this, I'm not sure why. See? Look at that. That's a cute little pocket. Back it onto something. Ink it up if you like. There, I'm in love. I like it. Oh, I'm definitely going to do a folder or a folio or something with this kit because I'm really quite proud of it, if I do say so myself. It was fun to create. So there's that. And then this is like a little journal card. Let's cut this maybe this way. And then go this way. Again, it's not like perfectly straight, but it doesn't have to be. Ephemera doesn't have to be perfect. Look at that, Birdie's buttons. Back that onto some cardstock and we have a journaling card. Okay, what do we have going on? Did I just, no. I thought I got a little motivation app I was gonna share with you guys, but not yet, it'll come. Okay, so to give you a quick preview of what I have created, I'm not sure how well this is going to work for you guys seeing, but this is kind of how I'm going about designing everything. So I start with like a full page. So here is the Birdie's buttons journal card that we literally just cut out, right? So I create a full page of that and then I copy it and I size it down and I put it onto these full pages, right? So that you can get many different elements on one page. So I'm not sure what I'll do. I think I might actually just keep everything the way I have it, like even this button card. As you can see, this button card is a full card or a full page. And then I just scaled it down to be smaller. So what I might do is I might just leave everything, oops, no, don't do that. There we go. I might keep everything as full pages and then let you guys resize them. You should be able to resize them down when you're printing. You can, choose 4 to a page or however many to a page. That way you can get the sizing that you want as well. So I'll include the resized pages as well as the full-size pages, if that makes sense. I think that's what I'll do. And then you'll get, as you can see, you're going to get a lot of pages. So this is like a pocket that I created. I created it on a full-size page, and then I just copy my canvas, and then I put it on a full page. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And then I have, as you can see here, this is like a journaling page that you can print out. This is background page or a collage page that I did. So you guys can do whatever you want with these, right? I just kind of give you the bones and let you, oh, don't need to see that. Give you the bones of kind of my idea, and then you guys can resize and play around with them if you want. This you could even make into, resize into a journal card and then collage something else on top. But then you're going to have that fun stitching around. Or you can use it as like a full journal page and fold it in half and just have the kind of faux stitching around it. Whatever. Okay, oh, you don't need that. I'll have to talk to you later, my friend. Yeah, so that's kind of my idea around all of this. I hope that this kind of excites you as it excites me. Like, this could be a journal topper, right? You could print this off and put some cardboard and lace on the background and use it as a... No, you don't want to see my see my personal messages. Sorry. Yeah, so you can totally, you know, print that out and use it as a journal topper, or, you know, whatever. You can resize it to your heart's delight. So that's kind of what I have going on here. I think I do want to do some buttons, because of course I've said Birdie's buttons and I don't have any buttons on here. So I might do a some more tucks, or maybe a belly band and some buttons on another page, and we'll kind of play around from there. So I hope that this, oh, what did I do there? I've got something weird. I've got a weird bird happening there. Can I select that? Oh no, I don't know how. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that off there. Anyways, so that is, oh, Magic 8 Ball, I know. Oh, messages. Oh, now you're seeing all the things I do. Okay, so that is kind of what I've been doing and what I've been working on, and I hope that excites you guys. So I will leave it here for this video. If this video is up, then that means this digital is available on my Ko-fi site. Like I said, I'm going to have it available for free for a couple of weeks, and then I'll probably just throw $1 or something on there. You know, I did take time to create these things, so it would be nice to be able to have a little something in return, right? Again, I want to be able to offer it to you guys at a reasonable price, that, you know, I'm not trying to gouge anybody or break the bank, but I also do realize that my time and my creativity is worth something as well, and hopefully you guys can appreciate that. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and P.S. I love you.